What is the reason for the increase in blood pressure? Hello viewers, I warmly welcome you to my channel. To new here, I'd like to introduce myself. I'm Marat Valeev, a cardiologist. On our channel, we discuss not just cardiology, but also topics on our overall health. In this article, I aim to shed light on crucial aspects of our well-being using plain and easily understandable words. I have recorded a considerable number of videos about high blood pressure, about arterial hypertension, hypertensive disease. We refer to it by different names. Today I would like to talk about probably the main factors, independent, so to speak, factors and closely interconnected with each other sometimes, which can still provoke an increase in blood pressure. We have discussed with you both so-called primary hypertension and what is known as secondary hypertension. And you probably already know that in most cases it is not possible to find the true cause of hypertensive arterial hypertension. Hence, medications are prescribed to alleviate symptoms but do not provide a cure for the illness. It is crucial to pay attention to these factors, which we will now discuss, as they can still trigger an increase in blood pressure. This info is not taken from thin air. It's present in clinical recommendations. It's an absolutely proven scientific fact. So the factors we'll now consider are widely known and can indeed affect the increase in blood pressure. So let's proceed to the primary factors that can enhance blood pressure. And the first, the most crucial aspect is naturally age. Age, proven, is linked with an increase in the number of cases of arterial hypertension as indicated by scientific evidence. In other words, the older the patient becomes, the more cases of arterial hypertension or hypertensive disease are encountered among them. In other terms, the more advanced in age the patient is, the greater the likelihood of experiencing elevated blood pressure. This should be paid attention to, so I often talk about it too, that if, for example, you always had 120/80 at age 30, and by age 60 it becomes 140/80, there is nothing critical about it. That is, pressure physiologically will continue to increase with age in individuals over time, especially systolic pressure. And do you know what systolic is? This is the first indicator of normal tonometry and diastolic. Here, as a rule, systolic pressure, it is still associated with age, it increases. The second crucial aspect is, of course, heredity. There is no way to avoid or overlook this. This plays a crucially important role, not only in cardiological practice, but in general, probably in any diseases. Therefore, it is very important to independently analyze, perhaps, what your grandmothers and grandfathers died from. If they were dying, if they are alive, very well, then perhaps the grandmothers are right there, or the grandmothers of your grandmothers. It's desirable for all to trace this kinship model, see cause of death, age diagnoses as much as possible, because it'll still provide information needed to understand what each person died from, at what age, and what diagnoses were. For instance, it frequently occurs that a young patient experiences a heart attack. Upon thorough communication, we discover that their father also had a heart attack, specifically at 60 years old, while their father had it at 70 years old. We observe a trend that cardiovascular diseases specifically are commonly found among men. Therefore, pay close attention to this. If you have a burdened heredity, you need to pay attention to it and probably already protect yourself in a timely manner, somehow prepare, try to be more attentive to these diseases in order to safeguard your health. The third is overweight or obesity, and probably I will combine it with the fourth factor. This is hypodynemia. One probably follows from the other. The less a person moves, the more weight they will gain. As he gains more weight, his blood pressure will increase. In actuality, there is an informal gradation that correlates with the amount of weight he puts on. For every kg of body weight, the pressure in a person increases by approx. 1-2 minutes of mercury column. It's actually easy to check if you are overweight, if you seriously take care of your diet, and if you have, for example, high blood pressure. Then if you lose weight, for example, by 10 kilograms, most likely your blood pressure will automatically decrease by somewhere around 15 to 20 millimeters of mercury column. Hence, it is imperative to monitor weight. This is one of the most critical factors that can have an impact on blood pressure. In our practice, we emphasize this You can't overlook the excessive consumption of sodium, in other words, salt. It is crucial to address this issue. The greater the amount of salt that an individual consumes, the greater the amount of fluids that are retained, and as a result, the higher the blood pressure becomes. This is also quite easy to check. If you have a tendency to hypertension, for example, or if your blood pressure rises, you know that you consume a lot of salt. You can try to limit it for a week, and you will even notice that your blood pressure will decrease. No one says salt must be completely removed. Under no circumstances should this be done. But there are norms, max 5 grams of sodium per day. This is all conditional, in fact, but you should try to be in this range, of course. We understand that we salt food, but while consuming food, it's desirable not to add salt and to avoid buying ready-made products for a healthier diet, in the production of which we did not participate, and we do not know how much salt is added there because it is very difficult to track. In the same, for instance, sausages, there can be a substantial quantity of salt in reality, and we may be unaware of it. One fact may be written, but in reality, the truth is that we still consume a much larger quantity of salt than we actually need in our daily diet. And the last factor is alcohol abuse. It is clear that this does not apply to everyone, but nevertheless, people who abuse alcohol are also prone to arterial hypertension. This is one of the provoking factors contributing to high blood pressure. Therefore, if you have problems with this and your blood pressure is increasing, you can simply start by reducing perhaps your consumption, and in the future completely surrender in order to normalize your pressure. These are the main likely factors that have an impact on blood pressure. There may be additional factors that contribute to it, but these are the most basic ones. And if you start working with these factors, it is clear that you cannot do anything with causality. But all other factors are factors that can be influenced. Take care of your health, monitor your blood pressure, and most importantly, avoid getting sick. Goodbye. See you in the next videos.